Hello everyone, welcome to the Escape Pod. I'm Sal.
I'm Josiah.
I'm Nathan.
And we just watched El Camino, a Breaking Bad story.
Bitch.
Wow.
Sometimes you gotta get it out of the way.
Apparently the one time he said bitch in the movie was completely his improvisation.
Good.
Which is funny because I watched a video recently where he's like, yeah, I don't really like saying bitch. You know, everybody just asks me all the time just to call them a bitch, and I'm just kind of sick of it. But then he was like, no, this is true to the character. This is season 2.
He was so in character.
Yeah, he was, because he's a fucking professional, and God, this was a well-made, well-written, well-performed, well-shot.
Well, that's very interesting because what I'm reading online is that this is a boring film and really unnecessary, and just feels like the TV show, not like a big-budget film.
Let me take you back to the year of, pre-2000, where films could be, interesting and, have depth and not have to have, fast-paced, quippy dialogue, big bombastic effects and explosions, or a movie could just be a couple guys sitting in a room discussing the fate of one man, and that could be the whole fucking movie.
But where are the jokes and the explosions?
Well, you got them.
Thor Ragnarok is my favorite movie in the MCU.
Sorry, sorry. See, when you watch Thor Ragnarok, you get stage 4 lung cancer.
Yeah.
Inoperable.
Inoperable.
Sometimes it recedes, but it seems to have come back.
I'd rather have twice as worse cancer than watch that film again.
Yeah. I would rather watch El Camino 10 times in a row than watch Thor Ragnarok once.
Yeah. And each time it just gets a little bit slower.
Oh, yeah, God.
I can live with that.
Yeah, I can live with it. It would hurt. It would hurt a lot. But I could live with that.
Yeah.
Let's kind of just jump right the fuck in.
So,
so Nathan and I watched it together before, and then we watched it all with Sal seeing it for the first time with us as a group.
Yeah, and watching it right after rewatching the final episode of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it was my idea to spice it up for you guys, and B, refresh myself, because it's been a few years since I saw Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to see how the ending of the show would transition into the start of El Camino. Because El Camino right after the finale of Breaking Bad. Spoilers for all that.
Oh yeah, spoilers by the way.
It was kind of a nice refresher of the events going forward, because El Camino's a good epilogue.
Yeah.
But definitely watching the finale before was a good prologue.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because we did not do that. We've been rewatching, and we were both kind of at the start of season 3, basically, when we watched El Camino. So it was kind of obviously I've rewatched the show I think 4 times at this point, so I'm pretty well up on it. But it was very nice to see, like you were saying, the direct correlation when it decided to make a flashback during the events of, because basically a lot of the flashbacks in this are either to specific season 2 moments or to basically the last 2 episodes of season 5.
Yeah, because towards the end you start to see less and less of Jesse because he's just basically a prisoner. And this kind of shows you some things he had to deal with during his time as a prisoner.
Yeah.
Which was nice. While also showing him trying to escape the law and everything. But what's also cool is that, we watched a film recently that was a sequel to a very much beloved thing that had flashbacks to the time period of that said event and movie that was not good. It's Chapter 2.
Oh, yeah.
Or
where they tried to crowbar in, this stuff totally happened, whereas this movie's this stuff happened, and I'm I completely accept that.
Yeah. I guess it's towards the end of the movie, but the bit where Walter and Jesse have their, diner scene really feels oh no, we just forgot to release this footage, not enough time in the episode, here you go.
Yeah.
And I can tell that Bryan Cranston's headpiece is not the best, but...
Well, I said a few minutes ago, some actors have gained weight, and that's noticeable, but that never really took me out of it.
No.
But it was interesting, because since we did watch the finale right before, it was oh yeah, Todd is very much skinnier.
Todd got chunky.
Todd got pretty chunky.
Skinny Pete and Badger look great.
They never say when in Jesse's stay Todd had that little weekend adventure. Maybe he had a little...
No. There's things in it that basically say it has to take place within this few months.
He went to the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia Mac diet.
He went crazy. He decided to bulk up, and then he wanted to become muscle, didn't work, so he just lost it all again.
Yeah, he just lost it.
It makes sense.
Yeah, obviously. You're just listen. You don't understand.
I don't. I clearly don't.
You know, it's the all-carb diet followed by the keto diet, and then you're...
Oh, wow.
Good.
Do
Yeah,
you mean the Christian Bale diet?
yeah, pretty much. You know, he's dedicated to his craft.
Yeah.
Like, everyone in this fucking movie. Even so, like, alright, I kind of want to, like, I know we're going to be all over the place because we just watched it, but, like,
Absolutely.
Neil as a character was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like-
well, yeah, it's great how the final confrontation with an antagonist in Breaking Bad is not some giant kingpin or some crime lord or some super Mexican assassin.
Yeah.
It's just like some fucking guy who like built stuff for Nazis, so he's not really morally right.
Yeah.
But he just kind of wants to have money and have a good time and like watch some strippers. He's not really like an evil guy. He just found an opportunity for some money. He's like, yeah, I'll just kick back.
Yeah.
But because of his pride and other stuff.
It was really cool because, like, again, I think people expected this to be a scale up in drama and tension and blah blah. You're fucking stupid. I'm sorry, but you're watching movies.
I don't understand how like after that. I don't want to say you're watching movies wrong, but you're watching movies wrong because like after the ending where it's like, well, everyone's dead, like. Like, who could really be the bad guy in this sort of story of Jesse getting closure that would make sense given the plot that would be like that high scale?
Like what? And
doesn't even make sense.
Why would you want something like? Oh no! Literally, as soon as Jesse got free, he ran into other Gus, another really big drug meth distributor.
How many times have we seen this J.J. Abrams effect where it's like, oh, like in the El Camino movie, we got bigger, badder Gus, who's like. Uses 2 box cutters to cut someone's throat instead of 1.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is fucking stupid. So this movie wisely was like, well, this is a very personal journey for Jesse. It's all, like, this is a character piece. It's all entirely, like, it's like most of it's psychological because half the movie's flashbacks.
Where are the jokes?
They're at the beginning. They're there. Like, Todd is hilarious. Badger and Skinny Pete are hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just pay attention.
Why is no one... Where's the helicarrier? I don't understand.
Well, you see.
Where's Benedict Cumberbatch?
Oh, God. Well, not in this show.
That's for the best.
But yeah, no, I think that it makes perfect sense to have this kind of a conflict because it literally becomes just a wild, wild west. Listen, like, I just need a bit of money. Well, you don't get any. Winner takes all. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Really, it's kind of a Logan to the Breaking Bad X-Men, where it's like,
absolutely.
What are the stakes in Logan? He's just protecting this one kid. You know, it's like,
the bad guys
this man
are
saved cities and realities and timelines. It's like, well, yeah, but this is like his last story.
Yeah, okay. No, it's so like I don't get this logic of the last story has to be like the biggest stakes ever.
Because it doesn't. Can it? Yeah.
Sure.
Does it have to be? No.
No, like it just depends on the type of story you're trying to tell. Yeah. And like I think Logan's spot on because in that one it's like we were like, oh, who's the bad guy going to be, Mr. Sinister or like who cloned? And it's like it's just some like corrupt scientists who like kidnap children. Like they're just kind of assholes. Like they're not. Yeah. They're not going to destroy the world or anything. It's
not Magneto or something. It's like just...
And that's always been the appeal of Breaking Bad to me, is just how they write these characters, how they write their interactions. And...
They feel grounded and real.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm never like, oh man, what's this all building up to? It's like, no, I'm really interested in seeing how this character develops and what their plans are and how they interact with the world.
Like I had that feeling in the very first scene of Neil and Casey where I was like, I get these guys. I get the relationship. Yeah. I get like how they act and like I get them and they were only there on screen for like a minute and I like didn't think they'd be a long-standing character in the movie. Yeah. But like I instantly understood them and what they were about. And then Lou, the guy who sprays the plants and is the fucking, the guy who just is about the apartment area. And I get it. Like it's so well done.
Yeah, because this movie was amazing because it literally has like, hey, listen, half the movie, well, not half, but like a lot of this movie is flashbacks with Todd, but he's already dead. But like the wounds that he caused never go away. And like he fights Neil in this movie, but he doesn't fight Todd. But it doesn't change the fact that it feels natural that is the case. It's not like you're like, oh, why couldn't he have just like fought Todd at the end of this movie? Because there was a comment that I read on YouTube where like someone mentioned Todd, and I was like, I assume that he's in a flashback. Please don't tell me that he like comes back to life somehow. And like,
because if a character does that in Breaking Bad, you've lost me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And Vince would never allow it.
There were people that were like, oh man, is Walt okay? And it's like, no, he died.
It's like he
got shot and he bled out.
Not even that. In the show, in that point in the show, it's literally like, yeah, he would have died of like cancer in probably like 2 weeks anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, really?
Yeah, I love, and in an interview just before El Camino came out, Vince Gilligan was like, yeah, Walter White's dead.
Why was that a mystery?
Yeah, why was that unconfirmed? Like, I
feel like shooting him on screen was enough.
And him like just laying there motionless as cops come in probably means
he's like a 52-year-old man.
In fact, the script literally says, like, it's one of my favorite endings to a script ever, is like, as it says the cops come in, Walter got away again. As he dies,
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's really beautiful. And then there's also people going like, maybe Lydia's alive. It's like, she got poisoned with the ricin, and he explicitly says, as soon as you have the extreme symptoms, you're dead.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, maybe she's alive. No, stop.
Like, why would that matter?
Why? No.
Maybe Uncle Jack's alive. I never saw where he shot him.
I mean, his brains hit the camera. But yeah,
it just grazed him.
No, it just grazed him.
I feel like the transitions between
phenomenal,
like absolutely great. I think the one that sticks out for me is when he's at Todd's apartment and like he sneaks in and then he's desperately like looking through the eye hole to like see because the guy was closing in, and then it cuts back to when he was looking in and Todd's interacting with him.
And it's also Lou.
Yeah.
Both times it's Lou, so it's like, oh, see, his memory is going back to when that first time it happened.
There's so many times where I was like, oh, when are we cutting? Are we cutting? Oh, God. Like, the shower bit fucking hurts me.
Where he has the PTSD flashback of them spraying him down, and then he's in the bed, he looks up and sees the bars above him, because he slept there for months.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, God. Yeah,
people don't get that this is like a character study, and they don't know that word means anymore.
I think people like, oh, wasn't it awesome how Walter used the M60 and like fucking shot everybody? It's like, yeah, because we had like 5 seasons of character development to make that like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
You can't just immediately do the coolest thing ever.
If that happened in some hokey B movie, we'd all like laugh and say how stupid it was. But because like we had all this emotional buildup and like interest when he did it, we're like, oh, yeah, he did it. Not fucking guns and shit.
Yeah, because it's awesome, but like the ending of Breaking Bad is like this really poignant character piece. Like that's the show.
Yeah.
And so this movie being that is completely consistent and everything is
it felt just like another episode.
Yeah, but in a good way.
Everything felt, and that's kind of the thing that I love about it, is that like if it's like it has some budget behind it, and it's 2 hours, but it doesn't. I was telling you guys when I was watching it. When I go to see a movie nowadays, it all feels very samey.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And there's a formula we have to hit, these fucking beats. And then this film didn't feel that way. It felt like it was just telling me a story and didn't care for the pomp and circumstance of like, oh, we have to do this, this, and this, and do this, and check this off. I feel like just Netflix and Vince sat down, and Vince was like, yeah, I want to do a Breaking Bad movie. And they were like, here's money. And Vince was like, well, what do I have to do? And they're like, make a Breaking Bad movie.
Just kind of make it good, I guess.
Just make a Breaking Bad.
He's like, oh, well, luckily I've had a story that I've been thinking about since the show ended, so I'll just work on that.
Fits really naturally.
Yeah. It feels like...
Because even way back then, he was like, yeah, he probably ended up in Alaska or something. And everyone was like, wait, but how? And he's like, oh, well, I'm not telling you. It's up to your imagination.
I just love it.
But it's still great because the end of this movie still is like, oh, well, we don't know what happens to him. I mean, like, it's more definitively like a happy ending. Like, it's like the catharsis of he finally has a fresh start. But it still, like, doesn't tell you every detail of what happens to him.
Yeah, like, when the show ended, I was like, I imagine, like, Jesse getting away and being happy, but how does he get there? And then in this it ends, and I'm like, dope, okay. Yeah. He's definitely gotten away.
Yeah,
he's good. Like,
yeah, again, it's absolutely, because that was I was totally hyped for this just because it's Vince Gilligan and everyone was like really like passionate about it and was like, no, this is a good story. Like, we're not just doing this for money. Clearly, this isn't just we made this 2 years after the show ended. And
yeah, it's been a couple years. So
yeah, 2013. So
yeah,
been a good amount of time. But again, I was worried like, oh well, maybe this is gonna ruin my how great the ending of Breaking Bad. No.
Yeah, because I will say Breaking Bad has a perfect ending.
Yeah, it does. And now it has like a perfect epilogue. He literally had his cake and eats it too. Like, I don't know how he did it. He just did it. Like, I was like, hey.
It feels so weird to have this, though, because so many shows and so many movies just disappoint me nowadays, which I guess was why we made the Escape Pod in the first place.
The X-Files reboot. Go fuck yourself.
Hey, Vince Gilligan.
I know.
Did you notice the Moxley cigarettes that were in the glove? Yeah, I know. I was there. Shut the fuck up, Watch Mojo. No one gives a fuck about you. Jesus.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Just films nowadays and shows nowadays, disappointment.
Well, it's like they always feel like we have to keep going.
And you don't.
For Breaking Bad being a show where everyone was like, we ended it. It's done. And then they were like, okay, we do have one more story, but it's done. This character's story is done.
But we took time, and it wasn't like a big, crazy marketing scheme. It was like, we're only like 2 trailers, maybe a teaser, not tell you anything about the fucking movie.
And what was great is this movie wasn't like, oh, please go watch Better Call Saul where you'll get the end of the story. It's like, no, that's like Saul's story. This is Jesse's story. Walt's story ended with the show. Everyone's going to get nicely wrapped up, unlike every other TV show.
Yeah.
You know?
This is like the counterbalance to like fucking Game of Thrones and like...
Yes!
And I will say Endgame, too.
Yeah.
Where Endgame was not everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wanted to have a conversation about Endgame at some point because I feel like there's a lot you could dig into there as far as like it's like interesting choices that like there was things in Infinity War that were clearly like set up that like just didn't come back and they were like so fucking important. And it's like, why would you like set up those themes and characters? And we're like it'd be like if in Breaking Bad it was like, yeah, like what if like for El Camino like Jesse was just like a heartless killer and then like like all this random shit is just different for no reason.
Anytime Jesse has like a moment where he is confronted by like conflict that involves like killing, he's like, no, I don't want to.
Unless it's like the last resort.
Yeah, and there's only like one fight, the biggest air quotes you could put on it in this movie, and it lasts less than a fucking minute.
Well, that's why it's great, because Vince Gilligan's like, hey, what's great about Westerns? You know, usually the ones that like build up to one final confrontation, because... if we just have shootouts the whole movie, then it doesn't feel as cool. But if you just have the one moment of, you know, a fight at the very end, it feels so much like grander and more exciting because you're like, oh shit, it's all been like building up to this.
And I like how the way Jesse's bravery and hesitance towards violence are consistent with how they're portrayed in the show. Like you have when he has a gun on his head and he's just like, yeah, just do it. Like, it's the exact same attitude he had when he was, like, with Mike, and he was offered to execute this guy. He's like, yeah, you're gonna kill him anyway. Or, you're not gonna kill him, you have a bag on his head. Like, just this very matter-of-fact, whatever, I don't really care what happens to me. And then also, since we were watching through it, the scene where he lets the beetle onto his hand is something that happens, I think it's season 2. Like,
it's a season 2 moment. I think it's a beetle, yeah.
I think it's after they kill... have their first kill, and it's sort of him having that crisis.
It's after Tuco dies, yeah.
You know, this movie has a lot of attention to detail, especially with in relation to like past events.
But it's never just for fan service.
No, it's just like it's there.
Like everything in this movie is not like the interesting thing is like there's things where I'm wondering if like someone could just watch this with no context and still like get something out of it. Like obviously there's parts like Jane and other stuff where you wouldn't like get it.
Yeah.
But there's other stuff where it's clearly like this guy White, he was like a mentor figure to him, but apparently he went bad and all this other stuff, and that's what I really liked about it was that it wasn't basically just saying like, hey, does everybody remember how great that TV show we made? Like it wasn't like The Hobbit where they were like, or It Chapter 2 where they're like, hey, look at like how great we are, we're gonna do a victory lap, and it's like maybe you should stick the landing first.
Yeah.
Oh man, originally El Camino was gonna be 3 hours long.
Well, I was gonna say, Joe and I were talking that there is some cut content because in the trailer you have the interrogation with Skinny Pete. Where he's like, I'm not gonna help you find Jesse, and it's like, you know, the cops were barely in this. They're kind of just there as this oppressive force against Jesse. They aren't characters. There's not a storyline for them chasing him.
Which makes it great because when Neil and Casey show up, like you think it's the actual cops because you're like, well, they have to have some kind of presence in this movie because they've been following him the whole time. You're wrong, but
I like how when you're watching, it doesn't necessarily click into place until they time up with the chords that they aren't, even though there are indicators.
Oh, there's so many.
But it's just ones you don't think about. Like, I think the biggest one is when Jesse has Casey hostage and he has him call Neil. He says, hey, Lieutenant. And that immediately alerts Neil. And you're like, oh, well, see, they were just being buddy-buddy. So that, you know, that's why. It's because they aren't cops.
Yeah, I saw that at first as, they were clearly... Because, again, Vince is really good at characters. He shows that Neil and Casey are just like... yeah, they're cops, but they're, like, friendly with each other. So, like, yeah, they're gonna be all like, oh, Lieutenant, blah, blah. They're just like, you know, hey, it's Neil and Casey. You know, we're just gonna go do this thing real quick. So when he calls him Lieutenant, I was like, oh, shit, that's so good. And then it's like, oh, shit, They're not cops.
Yeah.
And I think I said it like a second before Jesse said it too.
Well, I did the same thing. If you recall, Nathan, I was like, oh, they're not cops. And then like 5 seconds later, you're not cops. And I'm like, oh boy, yeah. I love it when a script comes together.
Yeah, it's as if they paced it and they wrote it well. And you like get it as the character gets it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they did a good job.
Oh, no. According to these articles online, it's completely unnecessary, and it wasn't.
I keep hearing that.
It was no
unnecessary.
I swear to God, you know how like sometimes with like what they did with The Last Jedi, where it was that media blitz where all the media channels were saying the same thing in their like headlines, and it was like, this is probably coordinated.
Yeah.
Whereas this, like, I the word unnecessary is like in half the headlines I see, and I'm like, that's
and when it's
really
not, it's superfluous.
Yeah, it's really suspicious.
It's really weird. I don't
not that I'm saying that your argument would be valid even if it wasn't coordinated. I'm saying it's completely invalid. But yeah, I guess in a sense it's not necessary. But is it like valuable? Yeah, this is good art. We should be encouraging this.
Yeah.
Is it unnecessary? Maybe. But like, is it fucking amazing in every possible regard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like what is this
At that point, is anything necessary?
Yeah, what is this criticism nowadays? Oh, this thing was like perfect in almost every way. But was it needed? I mean, I guess not.
Listen, if
like,
Z Nation could have 5 fucking seasons, I think I could have my fucking Breaking Bad movie.
Like, I guess like we should just delete Terminator 2, you know, not really necessary, even though it was like great.
Like, why spoil a good film and make it a sequel?
Yeah, why are we spoiling Batman Begins with The Dark Knight? Get that shit out of here. Like, delete it, you know? It's like, Godfather Part 2? Get that shit out of here. Is it really necessary?
People who fucking say this is unnecessary watch fucking Fear the Walking Dead. Like, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say it. Fuck you, alright? You probably love Thor Ragnarok, too.
Well, yeah, because that was necessary, because it fixed Thor.
No, it didn't. It fucked him further.
I
can't believe he was already falling off the cliff and you gave him a jetpack downward. That's amazing. How'd you strap that on?
I love that it looks like he's hit rock bottom, but we have Thor: Love and Thunder coming.
Okay,
showing us new lows. Where this movie showed us new highs.
Hey.
So, what did you say is your favorite return character besides Jesse?
Well, I love the fact that the film doesn't bring back. They show Mike who's dead. And Walt, who's dead. Jane, who's dead. Yeah.
Todd.
That's awesome. I like the fact that they bring back characters who are, like, small and, like, helped out. Like, yeah, there's Skinny Pete and Badger, who are Jesse's friends with the whole show. Yeah, and that's fucking amazing. And their scenes are great. And the fact that Skinny Pete's like, shit, like, you're my hero, dog. And I'm like...
That's Vince Gilligan going, I'm gonna give you some goodness for your heart before I start destroying it again. And then don't worry, we'll come out the other side of the tunnel. And it's like, thank you.
Yeah, I love that the first cameos are these drug dealing friends, but it's just they're such fundamentally good friends that just no questions asked. Yeah, you can just crash on the bed, you know, put the lights out for you. You know, I got some clothes ready.
Hey, you need a shower? You just brand new bar of soap for you.
Open the new stuff, you know, it's like
open the new stuff. I've been saving that.
And he's like, oh yeah, you can just have my card. Also, here's all the cash I have on me, and you know, like it's like, God, you know, thanks, but also fuck you.
Yeah,
Vince Gilligan.
I'm like, I still have an hour 45 minutes left. Don't make me cry right now.
Yeah,
Jessica Jones.
Yeah,
it was on the TV, so Netflix doing a little slideshow, and I'm reminded of the fact that other things exist.
And for some reason, it's not showing Better Call Saul, even though we're.
I don't know why El Camino doesn't autoplay. Like, so Breaking Bad, we watched the last episode, and of course it autoplays something. So it autoplays El Camino, which makes sense. And then El Camino's like, you want to watch Peaky Blinders? I'm like, I would rather watch Better Call Saul. Following on this track of thought, but
like I feel like you have a show in your depository that would be perfect to follow up with this one. But I guess since Peaky Blinders is a Netflix original, you don't.
I was gonna say but this is a Netflix original, so let's watch Netflix things.
Yeah, I think that's entirely what it is.
But I love Ed, the guy who helps him across the border.
Yeah,
as a character.
He was so fucking essential.
Yeah, he was the plot, basically.
I mean, I was so glad. I mean, let's just say it now. Robert Forster passed away the day this came out.
Which is fucking depressing.
Which I found out like 2 minutes after I finished the movie, which just hit me like a ton of bricks. Rest in peace, you beautiful man. But, man, they gave him so much to do in this movie, and I was really happy that he got such long scenes.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just like a brief thing. It was like, no, like he gets a whole scene with Jesse that's like one of the best scenes of the movie.
And he's kind of driving force of the plot, really. Like, he's the conflict.
Yeah. Yes,
it's not really Neil, it's him.
Yeah, it's him, because if he had but what I like about that is that, like, initially you're kind of like, wow, Ed, you're a cocksucker. But then it's like, no, he wants to see like how bad Jesse actually wants to change and start new. Mm-hmm. And he like holds to principles, and like, you know, that reminds Jesse of a deal's a deal. He reminds Jesse of Mike and how Mike kept his word and was a man of principles. And
yeah.
So it just I initially you're like that, but then it's like, no, he doesn't rat him out. He gives him another chance to get the money. So he is the conflict, but it's like, no, you know, he just wanted to help Jesse.
But it's not like evil conflict. It's like wanting him to grow. He wants to see the character change too.
Because I love that scene of like him stacking up all the money. He's like, well, that's pre-owned. Like, that's for your previous ride with me, and now I need a whole new round for this one. Jesse was going to keep half the bag, because he's like, well, I'll live off this. And so he piles it all up, and then he just comes up short, and then he's like, fuck. And then he knows he has one of them stacks in his jacket. He puts that down. Still short. Oh, no, wait, I got, like, this ball of money. Oh, I'm $1,800 short. And it's just, like, such a good scene, because Robert Forster's just, like, staring at him the whole time, like...
And he grabs it back. Can I borrow this?
Yeah.
Starts throwing it away. Again, also, the comedy is very, very consistent with how it is in Breaking Bad.
Like, you mean good?
You mean good? Yeah.
Like some films I know.
Like
shut the fuck up.
Like, again, following that, when he calls the cops on him, and Jesse immediately is like breaking down how it made no sense and he's full of shit.
And then
and then it's like no.
My Jesse, the one time.
Yeah, he was like so smart. He was like, yeah, no, like Mr. White would do this. He's like, no, you're completely incorrect. I know all these details and facts, and oh no, it actually in this one scenario wasn't the case.
Then he runs away. It's like, grab the money,
gets it, leaves.
Then Robert, then he gives him a false description of Jesse and tells him he went the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Aw.
He's like, you can't pull at my heartstrings. No, I think he could. I think you really. Bit. I think you cared just a little bit. Yeah.
And Joe's a good cameo too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right at the start, because at first we get the Mike flashback, which takes place towards the halfway point of season 5 when Jesse tries to get out, and then he's the one who just out of nowhere being prompted, like, yeah, go to Alaska. You know, there's nothing up there. Final frontier. And then that becomes the impetus for basically the whole story for him to get away. And then after that, you know, it just kind of everything's like logically progressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like I have to. Okay, so I just broke out. Where do I go? Well, my friends, because I'm scared and alone. Okay, cool. All right, shit. All right, I gotta get rid of this car. This car's Todd's car. Fuck, it's low jacked. You can't take care of what I do. All right. Well, we'll get rid of the car. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we'll give it to Pete, and Pete will lie and say some bullshit. Cool. All right.
Now that I'm thinking about Todd, I do remember him having money, and also there's this traumatic experience. But
and I thought, like, I was dead certain that, like, I remember, and again, because the teasers and trailers are so great, they didn't tell you what the movie was about, really. I saw shots of, like, the desert, and I thought that, like, Jesse would, like, go back to where the money was buried.
Oh, yeah.
In the desert?
And it wasn't there.
Or something, I don't know.
Well, I mean, he knows that they were taking it out, though. Like, if you, in Ozymandias, they like, he knows that it's buried there, but then they're like, yeah, we're gonna take all this money, and then we'll leave you a barrel, and I think he hears all that, but no, I get you. But no, it's just to bury Todd's cleaning lady. And it's just like, what the fuck, man?
I was gonna take you out for some pizza after this, you know, some nice large pies and cold beer, like a 6-pack. Some cold beer, right, Jesse? Yeah, like, what kind of pizza do you like? Jesse, come on, what kind of pizza do you like? Pepperoni? Yeah, me too, classic, man. Yeah, I like pepperoni too. It's just like, Jesus, Todd's so fucking great, man.
The Stockholm Syndrome is so real.
It's so real! Christ.
And it's made all the worse since you've watched Breaking Bad and you're like, okay, I know that he kills Todd at the end, but at the same time, I know it's not now.
He can't possibly get away. I know his suffering will continue. It's so good because, like, you as the audience and Jesse are trapped like him. Like, I know that he kills him, but he can't yet, so he's trapped in whatever adventure Todd decides to take him on. Perfect, great. I don't know. I think it's just pretty much like everything I wanted.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty damn near close to perfect.
There's only one thing I would change.
I want to add in those 58 cut minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, but I think that, like, I was dead set on, like, no, they're going to have the full Breaking Bad theme play again, but they didn't. And I get that makes sense, because that was always kind of, like, more associated with Walter. But since it is technically a Breaking Bad movie, it's like, well,
I wanted
you could have had a little bit of that in the score, maybe.
I was going to say, I wanted it after he blew up the candy welding.
Yeah.
Then it's just like, fuck yeah. That's my one moment of, oh,
Oh
just,
boy, yeah.
Just cathartic climaxing.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
he kills the guy who built his cage and then blows up his place of business. Like, no, you will never build another cage again.
And I love that they kind of answer the question of like, well, who the fuck built this to contain Jesse?
Yeah, that's true, because in the original, it's like, yeah, they're like neo-Nazis, they just have it for some reason. So that was kind of cool. Also, it was great how Vince Gilligan set that up where he was like, oh, now you remember me. And then I was immediately like, wait a minute, no, I've seen the show 4 times, who was he? And it's like, no, you never saw him, but he was there the whole time. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Fuck you, Neil.
He totally tricked me.
Fuck off, Neil.
Yeah. It has that bit where he says that line and then Jesse remembers, like, it's like a super speed quick cut. Like him running back and forth, and you're like, what the fuck was that? Oh, so good.
Probably one of the best retroactively added to the story characters.
That's what it is. So like they add these things retroactively, but I don't feel like it's like, messing up what was once there or ruining it, or it just adds more flavor to it.
They took the effort of making sure, okay, when is the best time where something that we didn't show can happen and not mess with everything else that's around it.
Yeah, the timeline's pretty consistent. And then also, it was a good idea where when I was first watching the movie, I was like, wait, are they saying Neil and Casey are other members of the neo-Nazi gang?
Yeah.
That's, I was like, that's kind of like lame sequel. Like, oh, there was 2 more you didn't get. But it was definitely
Jigsaw had another secret apprentice.
Yeah, no, fuck the movie Jigsaw. Because it was more like the original Saw movies and not Jigsaw. Because so I was thinking that, and then they were like, no, they kind of just like worked with them. They're kind of like shady guys, and like, shady people deal with shady people. So
yeah,
he was like an associate, but he wasn't like in the gang. He's kind of like there sometimes, like around.
Yeah.
And that was like way more like consistent and made more sense than, oh, by the way, retcon. Anything else? I want to watch it again.
Yeah, I'm pretty...
Well, I gotta watch it after I rewatch all the episodes, and then I can watch Better Call Saul afterwards.
Exact. And then once Better Call Saul ends, I'll marathon it all.
Do the whole shit.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Vince Gilligan silver screen universe.
Yeah.
So.
No, this was an amazing movie. Like, honestly, like, the fact that you could have a perfect ending to a TV show and then follow up with it with a perfect epilogue is like Game of Thrones is the sacrificial lamb that can make this good.
Yeah.
And you know what? I sacrifice.
I'll do it. Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. This is great. It's a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
There's positivity in this goddamn podcast.
Yeah, no. Because as we're watching, it's just like, man, I fucking love filmmaking.
Yeah, like just like the visual storytelling of like just like when Jesse's like, "Hey, Skinny Pete, let me see the keys real quick." You know, and there's no like hard smash cut to him handing the keys over. Make the audience go, "Hey, this is important. Are you paying attention?"
Showing the street signs the 2 different times he goes to the apartment.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, get it? Same location. It's like, oh.
Yeah, it's super good.
It all feels like a script that was written and drafted more than once.
Yes.
Yeah, I bet.
Which is a rarity in this day and age.
I bet he did it at least 4 or 5 times.
Well, yeah, I love it because this movie is basically... I was looking at their timetables. This is something Vince Gilligan brought up, where it was like, we went from a TV schedule to a movie schedule, where it's like, okay, we have 30 days to film 5 episodes, so we have to do like a bunch of scenes a day, and then this was, we have like 60 days to film this one movie, so we can do like a scene or 2 a day and just really take our time to focus on production and everything.
Yeah.
And it honestly fucking shows.
Yeah.
Every moment in every fucking subtle, small, just
because it felt completely consistent with the TV show, but it felt completely like, no, this is like us with a bit like even more budget and even more like time with it. So it like was that perfect balance of, no, this will not feel completely inconsistent.
It's just a high budget Naruto episode.
Yeah,
like it's consistent, but damn, it looks so good.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's it.
That's about all we can really say. I mean, we're sucking the film's cock a lot. The score was good.
Please release the score.
Yeah,
I know you did 2 volumes for the show. I need 1 for this movie, please.
Yeah, I need 2 volumes for this movie.
And also release the film on Blu-ray. Give me the extended cut. Thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Anything additional stuff written and directed by Vince Gilligan, I'll watch it.
Please.
So give me those 15
Listen,
minutes.
Vince, suck your fucking cock, man.
I've been praying real hard. All right, thank you so much.
Listen, Lord,
thank you so much for joining us on the Skate Pod. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
A little boring at parts. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, if you want to like get depressed, don't watch this movie because you'll feel great. Just Google El Camino review and you will want to kill yourself because it's like a crime.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you people?
I don't know. I think people have really low standards for superhero films, but then they have really arbitrary, contradictory standards for good art.
Just watched El Camino, not gonna complain. It was solid for what it was. But it felt too much like watching an episode of Breaking Bad that the fact that it ended at all seemed anticlimactic.
What are you... Okay.
What did you expect?
I went to sit down to a Breaking Bad movie. I wanted to feel like Mad Men, personally. I wanted to feel like Breaking Bad.
Yeah, why would you...
Because people don't get what a movie is anymore, man. That's what I'm fucking saying, dude. These fucking movies nowadays are so fucking, like, dumb, bombastic, popcorn-feeding bullshit that it's just like, oh, I have to think about characters, and
it's
just
not going to go on forever, so I have to find some finality in things.
The plot is, I need $1,800 so I can start my life over. And it's like, wait, there's not a big beam shooting into the sky and the world's not going to fucking explode?
You mean Jesse doesn't kill like 50 people at the end of the movie?
Why doesn't he have a big, long hallway fight scene with cops and where he escapes?
Why isn't Jesse just John Wick?
I think that's what people expected. I don't know.
I don't know how they got that when all the trailers were like, yeah, this would be a slow character piece. And we're all like, wow, this would be great. And everyone's like, why was it like Breaking Bad?
Maybe people did. Maybe people should have done what we did and watched the last episode before this movie, as opposed to just have this weird like half memory of what happened.
Like, is all you remember Tuco screaming and Walt throwing the fucking bomb thing?
I think like these people reviewing it are the type of people who go, these are the moments I remember from Breaking Bad. I am the danger. I remember when Gus got his face blown off. I remember the M60. Like all the moments that are badass that are, but it's like, but they wouldn't be if the rest of the show was shit.
Not to mention, like, you saw the trailers, right? Yeah. All of the trailers were basically just, hey, where's Jesse Pinkman? And it's like, oh, okay, this is about how, like, what happens to Jesse after the end of Breaking Bad. Great. It's probably not meant to launch this trilogy, so it's not like he's going to get wrapped up in something. No, this is literally just the character
the movie
getting closure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ugh.
And like, yeah, you can say, oh, but like, I had a perfect idea of what it would be like in my head. It's like, okay, cool, but this is still, fuck you, Death of the Author bullshit. Like, this is just like, just enjoy it. Because like, what happened in your head that was so different from the movie? In your head, it was, oh, Jesse got to Alaska. Well, he does.
Well, it's funny, all the critics are saying this, but then I was going on Tumblr because I was looking for some, like, basically I was looking for gift sets of, like, people comparing show stuff and the movie stuff. And then I saw one person going, like, yeah, this is pretty much, like, Vince Gilligan took all, like, the possible Breaking Bad fan fictions and put them into the best possible combination. I'm like, yeah, well said.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, what are you missing from this? Jane didn't come back from the dead? No, I'm sorry.
Walt isn't, like, secretly alive and manipulating something somewhere.
Yeah, Walt isn't secretly alive and Jesse has to kill him at the end after blowing up 15 buildings.
Like, what, did you want to see, like, Skylar and Flynn or some shit?
They need to see every living character.
Say, no, fuck off.
Yeah.
They're done.
Anyway.
Move on with life.
So watch the movie.
This is a good OVA.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, really good. I'm glad I watched it. I can't wait to indulge in this universe more. But thank you so much for listening to the Escape Pod. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Bitch.